Okay. So as part of our previous class, that is our demo session, as part of our previous demo session, we have discussed about the business benefits of SAP GTS module. So in our previous session, which is our demo session, we have discussed about SAP GTS module business benefits if any company go for implementing that module. And I hope whoever were not part of the demo session might have received a recording. Definitely everybody might have received, because I already sent to everyone. So that I'm not going to repeat the demo session again, whatever we have discussed. And in the today's session, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain the overview of SAP GTS module. So by this time, if you have gone through the previous recording, or based on your exposure to the GTS module, so that's why I'm not going to repeat that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain the complete overview of SAP GTS module. So when I say the complete overview, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain what are the different functionalities, available in the GTS module. So that way you will be having high level understanding of the GTS module, which will also help you the scope of GTS module. So if someone comes to you and asking you that what is GTS module or what is there, or when you go for a workshop as part of your GTS implementation, we need to know whether you are expert at each and every individual application area or not. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, you should be in a position what the GTS module is offering to the market, or what the GTS module is offering to the companies, or all the international trade companies, the companies participating in international trade. So that way we are able to face the client as part of your workshop conducting time, and also you will be able to understand, or you will be able to explain all the business processes available in the GTS module to your client, so that the client can choose whichever the functionality is required to them, or whichever the functionality is suitable to this business process or the business scenario. So that is the reason I wanted to establish very strong base. On this overview session of the GTS module. So for the coming 1 or 1.5 hour time. Okay. So basically at very high level, SAP GTS module has been divided into 4 submodules. SAP GTS module has been divided into 4 submodules. So those are complaints management, customs management, risk management, and electronic complaints reporting. For your information, complaints management, customs management, risk management, these 3 modules introduced to the market along with the initial version, along with initial product of SAP GTS. but the electronic compliance reporting, but the fourth module that is electronic compliance reporting, it was introduced with 7.1 version. So that means if you look at any GTS system, the older version prior to the 7.0 or 7.1, if you look at the older versions, you don't find that electronic compliance reporting application area. So I will explain when it comes to that that module. So what is this area? Why it was introduced only in the 7.1 version, and why it was not there, and what happened before that, I will explain little later. Okay. So let us start discussing about compliance management. So basically, the compliance management, by this time you understood that what is compliance? What is compliance? I already, when you say that a particular company or particular person is under compliant, or when you say is non-compliant. So whenever that guy, yes, tell me, correct.
Whenever you fulfill the regularities and regulations, you are compliant.
Okay. So whenever you are able to comply, or whenever you are able to obey the rules and regulations, or fulfill the rules and regulations, or the policy, whatever it is, then you say that that particular organization is compliant, or that particular person is under compliant. If in case he fails to obey, he fails to fulfill, or that company fails to fulfill, then the company or the person becomes non-compliant. So here the module is saying that compliance management. The first module of SAP GTS is saying that compliance management. And this submodule, we call it as a submodule. GTS is a module. GTS is a new dimensional module, and it has four submodules: compliance, customs, risk, and electronic compliance reporting. So out of those, compliance management is one of the module which is leading, or which is having huge demand in the market, in the GTS market. That means like 4 to 5 years back, like that means 2001 to 2013, if any company might have implemented SAP GTS module, they might have only implemented compliance management. So that means people realized the benefit of compliance management to that extent. So people might not go for customs management, might not go for risk management those days, but everybody, whoever implementing SAP GTS module, everybody decided to implement compliance management those days. So because of its importance, because of its benefit to the company or the organization. But later, from the 2013 onwards, like everybody started implementing the other modules like customs, risk, and in other areas as well. So why we are calling this module as a compliance management? So what was the reason, or why SAP decided to call it as a compliance management? I am going to explain. So basically, the compliance management is having different functionalities. The compliance management is having SPL screening, embargo screening, product classification, and license determination. The compliance management submodule is having four different application areas, or the four functionalities. We can say 4 functionalities or 4 application areas. So if any company would like to reduce, the non-compliance situation, or in other words, if your company wants to become compliant all the time, if your company or if your client wants to become if your company decided to be under compliant all the time, that means if your company want to be good all the time, then what you can do, you can implement the application areas or the functionalities available under compliance management. So that means the functionalities available under compliance management or the application areas available under compliance management will help the client to become the compliant, or it will help the client to reduce the non-compliant situation. So that means whatever the functionalities or application areas under the compliance management will help the organization to be under compliance, or will help the organization to reduce the non-compliance situation. So that is the reason we are calling this module as this submodule as a compliance management. All these application areas, SPL screening will help you to be under compliance all the time. Embargo screening will help you to be under compliance all the time. And the product classification will help you to be under compliance. And license determination will help you to be under compliance. So since all these application areas or all these functionalities are helping you to be under compliance, or it will help to make sure that your company or client under compliance, we are calling it as a compliance management. So now I am going to explain each and every functionality or each and every application area benefit. So before that I wanted to make this session more interactive by asking a couple of questions, or by taking your inputs in order to move further. Okay, let me open our master sheet. Just give me 30 seconds or 1 minute. I'm going to open one sheet. So basically, for the first few minutes, I wanted to take, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, or you can tell me. So when for example, when it is me or my client, or when it is you or your client decided, when our client is decided to do an export, or when our client is decided to do an import, can you tell me what are the different rules? What are the different rules, or what are the different regulations which we may need to fulfill? I'm just asking, like, it's not that you know everything. It is not that you may not need to know everything or you know everything, but I wanted to know what are all the things you know, or what regulations you are familiar, or what regulations you think that we need to overcome. That means, for example, if I want to get clearance for my export, if I decided to do the export or import, and in order to do clearance for export or for my import, or for your import or your export, what regulations we need to fulfill, or you know what kind of regulations might be there? That's my question. What kind of regulations you need to face, or we need to fulfill in order to get clearance for your export or import? So I wanted to list out all your inputs, all those regulations, whichever you know. I wanted to list out, and then I will correlate, your inputs to our application areas, or to our functionalities available in the GTS module. So that means basically I wanted to discuss the business process first, or the business functionalities, or the business requirements. I wanted to discuss the business requirements for the first few minutes, and then I will explain which functionality or which application area of the GTS module will support or will help to fulfill all these rules and regulations. Okay, you start telling me. I will also give my inputs. So tell me, what are the inputs you know that? What is the very base or very first regulation which you think to fulfill, or which you think you need to face as part of export or as part of import?
Maybe I don't know anything about a legal terminology, but we can say you need a license.
Yes, that kind of thing. That's what I am expecting. It's not that definitely we may not, unless and until you come to the GTS module. Everybody may not be knowing. Okay, you don't need to worry. Yes, yes. License is yes.
So you need to have a license of export or import, whatever it is you do.
So need to take care of license. Okay,
we need to check embargo list.
Means can you explain a little more, like, so that others will also have?
Yeah, we need to check the embargo list. The country which we are dealing with should not be in the list, as we are not supposed to do business with them.
Good. That means what we need to do. So basically, we need to make sure. Okay, the first thing what Veer was trying to tell. We need to make sure that our transactions are assigned with the. We need to make sure that our product in the transactions. We need to make sure that our product in the transactions are assigned with the proper license. That means we need to take care of the license, or what we can say, assignment of the very first regulation, or the one of the regulation or one of the rule which we need to take into consideration in order to get the clearance for our export or import is assigning the license to the product in the transaction, or need to take care of the license. That's the first thing. And the second thing he was talking about is taking care of the embargo. Embargo means what? Basically, in international trade, few, like your client's country, or it is like this. Few countries decided to boycott or decided to prohibit other countries. So, for example, US is decided to boycott Venezuela, Cuba, or North Korea, or Syria. So that means US is not allowing any company, United States of America customs authorities or United States of America government authorities decided to not do business, or not to send any product, or not to receive any product from the four countries like Cuba, Venezuela. Actually, Cuba is out of recently, like after 30 years, Cuba was out of embargo. So now you don't have any issues in dealing with Cuba. But still, if you are doing business from US, you cannot send any product, or you cannot receive any product from the Korea or Syria or Venezuela. Like this, each and every country publishes list of the bad countries, or list of the prohibited countries. Each and every country publishes list of bad countries or list of prohibited countries. So that we need to take care. So that means taking care of, we write in a general, very generic way, a very generic terminology, taking care of bad countries. Taking care of bad countries or prohibited countries. And what else? Like taking care of the license and taking care of the bad countries. That means when you are doing export or when you are doing import, you need to take care of the license to your transaction, and you need to take care of, like, bad countries. You need to look at bad countries. You need to consider the bad countries. Okay, next.
And also customers.
Yes, very good point. So that means, apart from the bad countries, what we can also consider, we also need to think about whether the customer in the transaction, or whether the customer to which you are dealing, or the vendor which you are dealing. Generally, if it is import transaction, you deal with the vendor, international vendors. If it is export process, you deal with international customers, international vendors or international customers. So when you are dealing with when it is international transaction, that is export transaction or import transaction, what you need to do, you need to make sure that your customer in the transaction, or you need to make sure your vendor in the transaction is good. So otherwise there will be problem, there will be some issues. So that means as part of your international trade, you need to take care of your international business partners. You can say in SAP GTS, we will talk about later. In SAP GTS, all these customers, all these vendors, or anyone in the GTS module, whether it is the customer, whether it is the vendor, whether it is bank, whether it is any financial institution, whatever it is, we call it as business partner. Even not only in GTS module, you know that SAP is having a plan. SAP already decided to introduce S4 HANA application, right? Which can be replacement for our ECC. You know that, right? S4 HANA Enterprise Management. So when any time, may not be immediately, maybe after some time. If anybody go for or anybody decided to go for S4 HANA Enterprise Management by removing our ECC, then there will not be any customer or vendor concept. There will be only business partner. So the same business partner concept is already available in the GTS module. The same business partner is already introduced in the GTS module. That means in SAP GTS, we consider customer as a business partner, or vendor as a business partner, a bank as a business partner, a forwarding agent as a business partner. Anyone, whoever is participating in the business, we are considering as a business partners in the GTS module. And for your information, one good thing for the GTS module is, since the topic came here, and I wanted to tell you that one good thing for the GTS module is when companies go for S4 HANA, application, that is S4 HANA Enterprise Management, which is a replacement for ECC. The GTS module is mandatory because whatever the foreign trade which is available in our ECC, SD foreign trade, MM foreign trade, so that is not going to be available. In SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management. That means in SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, you can have your sales and distribution, you can have your materials management, you can have your production planning, or you can have your PS system, PS module or CS module, whatever it is. But your foreign trade modules, your traditional foreign trade modules are going to be removed in the S4 HANA Enterprise Management. And there, if anybody wants to support their international trade operations, they need to implement. They should implement GTS module. There is no chance at all. There is no other option at all. If a client is doing international trade operations and they're going for SAP S4 HANA, then they should be using SAP GTS module implemented. If it is not implemented, they need to implement. If it is already there, they can continue with the GTS module. That means that way there will not be any changes to the GTS module even after S4 HANA Enterprise Management considered to implement any company. And I hope you know the difference between HANA database and S4 HANA Enterprise Management. I hope you know that, right? SAP HANA is different. HANA database is different from the S4 HANA Enterprise Management application. S4 HANA Enterprise Management is like our ECC. S4 HANA Enterprise Management is like our ECC, and SAP HANA database is like Oracle database or IBM database or SQL database, whatever it is. Okay, or I can take 2 minutes to explain this concept. So basically, we started our journey SAP R3. We started our journey SAP R3 with any database like Oracle database or SQL database or whatever the database it is. That is where we started. And then after some time, our R3 has been converted to ECC. Our R3 has been converted to ECC, and the ECC can still run. ECC is still running on any database like R3, any database like R3 Oracle database, R3 IBM database, R3 SQL database. And the second thing, ECC with any database. ECC with any database. And just few years back, maybe like 5 to 7 years back, what happened? Few clients started migrating to ECC, same ECC, no change in the ECC system, ECC application. The ECC application is same, but only few clients started changing their database to HANA database. Why? HANA database is so powerful because it's a column based and also it's in-memory database and multi-parallel processing. So because of these three reasons, the HANA database is so powerful, and the clients whichever would like to use the HANA database, because their reporting will be very fast, their MRP will be very fast, and whatever it is, it makes a lot of difference to the clients when they use the HANA database. That is the third section, ECC on HANA database. And the future in the sense, one or two clients already started implementing, and it will definitely happen after some time, maybe 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. But after 2020 or 25, everybody should go for that. So what happens there? There will not be ECC. There will be no ECC. There will be only S4 HANA Enterprise Management. SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management on only HANA database. Your ECC can run on HANA database or any database, but SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, which is a replacement for ECC, can only run on HANA database. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. So there in that SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, there will be no foreign trade system, and everybody should go for GTS module. Everybody should consider GTS module. Okay, so this is just the background. I'm not sure why I explained this somewhat, and I forgot it. But okay, this is the background related to that. So,
Venkat, one question.
Okay.
In S4 HANA Enterprise Management, the GTS is a separate server, or it's a module inside the S4 HANA?
No, it's still at this moment, as of today, SAP is considering it is a separate system, like SAP GTS, SAP Hybris, SAP Ariba, SAP SuccessFactors. All these modules are still SAP is considering as a separate systems, but we don't know what will happen in the future. But as of now, at this moment, SAP is considering all these four SuccessFactors, Ariba, Hybris, and GTS are a separate system, like the current situation.
Okay.
Okay. And the first thing is we need to take care of the license. The second thing is we need to take care of the bad countries, and we need to take care of the customer. When I say that we need to take care of the customers, what is going to happen in each and every country, US or Canada or India, whatever it is, each and every country publishes bad members. Each and every country publishes bad members. When I say bad members, it is bad restricted members or prohibited members or blocked members. You can say bad members or blocked members, like a list of terrorists or list of militants, or even list of nuclear proliferators, or a list of Ukrainian rebels or Russian rebels, whoever it is. So whoever is doing like some illegal or dangerous activities, each and every country consider those members as a bad members, and they publish that list. So when your client's country, whenever client country consider or publishes that bad members, then it is your responsibility as an exporter or importer. It is your responsibility to take care of all those bad members or all those blocked members. That is the third regulation or the third rule what we need to consider. And apart from that, anything else?
Materials.
So yes, materials means, what do you mean? It's exactly a very good point. But what do you mean? I just want to know what
Products that need to be, actually we need to sell this product or not actually to the respective country and respective customer.
Okay. So that means basically it's okay. We need to take it. You are correct, but to some extent we need to take care of product. So how can we take care of product, or how do we need to take care? So it is okay. Let me tell you. Let me ask a question. So I think that's a good point. Can we decide? Can we decide by just looking at the product name or product description? By just looking at the product name or product description, is it possible for us to come to the conclusion whether this product is a good product, whether this product is bad
No,
product? Is it possible to anyone,
no.
whether it is to you or whether it is to the customs authorities, or is it possible to anyone like to come to the conclusion whether a product is good or bad?
No, we have some rules set in our custom department. They will provide us at least whether this product is getting sellable or not. Actually.
So before giving information to the customs, we need to have a product classification.
So that means, okay, in order to make sure that we are dealing with the correct product, or in order to make sure that our products are assigned, with proper license, or in order to make sure that we are dealing with the correct product, what the customs authorities are doing, the customs authorities suggest us, or the customs authorities suggest any company who is exporting or importing, what they do, they suggest them, please classify the products. Because as I already explained you in the previous class or the previous demo session, by looking at the product name or description, it is not possible to us to conclude or to say whether this product is required any license or no, what kind of product it is. By just looking at the product name or the description, we never know that whether the product is good or bad, whatever it is. So because of that reason, what the customs authorities, even not only for you, even for the customs authorities also, it is very difficult to come to the conclusion, okay, whether this product, what kind of product it is or what category it is, whether this product is good or bad, they cannot come to conclusion. So that is the reason what the customs authorities made, they introduced a rule called classification of the products. What they do, they provide the classification codes. That means they provide ECC numbers, export control classification numbers, or they provide ICC numbers, import control classification numbers. They provide commodity codes. They provide a list of HTS codes or FDA codes or CAP codes. So like this, whatever the codes are required to your business process according to the nature of the business, they provide all those codes, and by utilizing all those codes, what you need to do, you need to classify your products. So that means whatever the product is required, whichever the code provided by the customs authorities, you need to link the classification codes or the classification numbers to the product, so that if your product is perfectly classified, if your product is rightly classified, or if the product is properly classified, then what happens? It is very easy to the customs authorities to come to the conclusion and to verify whether this product is required any license or not, or whether this product is eligible for doing the export or import, or what kind of license is required, or what kind of duty is required. So all these things, all these issues can be identified by the customs authorities when you perfectly classify the product, or when you complete the product classification process. So that is one of the major activity. In SAP GTS module. One of the major activity in SAP GTS module, okay, or not in the GTS module specially. That is one of the major activity which you need to take into consideration when you are doing the export or when you are doing the import. If you are participating in import or if you are participating in export, what you need to do, you need to make sure that all your products are rightly classified, and all the products are assigned with the correct classification codes. So that is also one of the major requirement or the major regulation or major issue which you need to take into consideration when you are doing the export or import. That's one of the requirement you can say. One of, like taking one of the other requirements what we talk as of now is the requirement one is we need to take care of the licenses. That means we need to assign the licenses when you are doing the export or import, and we need to take care of the bad countries. We need to take care of the bad members or blocked members, and now we need to take care of the products. So need to take care of the products in the sense, what does it mean? So that is product classification. Okay. So and then what else? What else you can think of it? Okay, let us say I'm going to give a clue. So let us say you take care of like license, and let us say you take care of the country. That means, so let us assume that okay, you understood, you decided or you verified what license is required, and you assign the product license to the product in the transaction, and then you make sure that your customer country is good or your vendor country is good. That means your business partner country is good. You also taken care of that, and also you have taken care of like the bad members. That means you have taken care that your customer is not belongs to the bad member, or your vendor is not belongs to the bad member. You also taken care of that, and also you classified all the products. So now you are good to go ahead, right? Am I correct? So once you take care of all these things, now you are good to go ahead, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
before that, customs should give the clearance.
That means that's the next point, Sunil. That's where I'm coming. Okay. When you have taken care of all these things, the next thing what comes to your mind, Sunil? What comes to your mind?
Export documents or import documents needs to be submitted and get the clearance from the customs.
Very good. So that means the next thing is you are ready. Now you are ready. Your transaction is ready, and you make sure everything is good. Whenever whenever you feel that everything is good, what we do? We start sending the shipment, right? We are ready to send the shipment. And the point is, when you are ready to send the shipment, what you need to do? Do you want to just send the shipment, or you want to send anything else with the shipment?
You need to send the required documents.
Excellent. That means we need to send the list of required documents. We need to send the list of required documents. So that means taking care of the custom messages, or taking care of the custom support document, or taking care of the custom legal documents. Am I correct? The next thing is the taking care of list of legal or support messages or documents. Okay, this is another requirement from the customs. Like that means what is nothing but we are trying to interact with the customs authorities, right? Can I say like that? So when you start taking care of the legal messages or the legal documents, so that is nothing but from that point onwards you start interacting with the customs authorities. Okay, customs interaction, I can say. Okay, so now you tell me. So when you know, okay, let us say I wanted to give a clue. So let us say you decided, you understood. Let us say you understood, or let us say you understood there are 6 documents what you require. 6 documents what you require. Okay, let us say you understood that, or you come to know, or you confirm with someone else, you need to provide 6 documents. Okay. And when you come to know that there are 6 documents, when you come to know, or when you confirm that there are 6 documents which you need to communicate with the customs authorities, okay, then what comes to your mind? What you need to think about it? So you understood that there are 6 documents what you need to communicate with the customs authorities. Then what you need to think, please?
The data we need to provide to customs.
Not the delta. Delta. Okay. Let us say you decided. Please.
Data, master data.
Not the master data. I'm expecting different, something different. Okay. I can ask you like this. Okay, for example, you decided to send something. Actually, no, you okay, like this. So you decided to learn SAP GTS module, okay, and then you wanted to ask a couple of questions. You have some questions before go ahead with training process. You have a couple of questions, and you already listed out questions. You decided you already listed out 6 questions. You have six questions with you. After confirming, after identifying the 6 questions, what comes to your mind?
There should be communication between the custom and our system.
So that means you need to think about how can I ask these 6 questions to Venkat, right? Don't you think? So how can you think about, like, first of all you need to know what questions. First of all you need to know what questions you have. So that is what you did here. So you understood that there are six documents. You already understood that there are 6 documents which you have to send to the customs authorities to get the clearance. In the similar way, when you think about the GTS training, so you come to know that you have 6 questions to get clarified so that you can move further. So when the 6 questions you decided, you need to get clarified, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
So in order to get clarification, how can you approach me? What are the different ways you can approach? What do you think? You can call me.
Email.
Yes. You can email me. You can make a phone call, or you can WhatsApp, or you can fax, or you can send a printout, right? I'm just talking in general. Maybe few things you may not follow here, but in general, when you think about communicating with someone, when you think about the communication process, anyway, the next thing what comes to our mind is how to communicate, what method we need to use, right? How to communicate or what method we need to use. You agree with me?
Are we talking about the interface here now?
Interface, we can say, like, I can say in other words. So how to communicate? I can say, now you understood that there are 6 documents what you have to send to the customs authorities. Now we need to consider how to communicate. So that is also an issue, right? Because here, because we can use we can send the printout, we can send the fax to the customs authorities, or you can send the EDA, IDOC, or you can send email, okay, or you can send in any other form. But basically these are the major. Okay, this is how to communicate. So let us say you decided to use print, or you decided to use fax, you decided to use EDA, IDOC, or email. Then what comes to your mind? Do you think is there any other question which can come to your mind? So don't you think about the frequency? Don't you think about the frequency?
Often.
So we need to think about the frequency, right? Frequency of sending the data. Frequency of sending the data. So that means.
And also acknowledgement from the customs.
All those things under customs communication process. Okay, all those things under communication process. So you can say, I can say communication process. That means the other requirement is from the first 4 requirements are taking care of the license, taking care of country, taking care of customers, taking care of product, and next thing is taking care of legal supporting documents, and then taking care of the communication process. So this is the other thing. And when I say communication, there are different ways. Okay. There are 4 communication process you can see, right? There are 4 communication methods you can see: printout, fax, email, and EDA, IDOC. Out of these, which is the electronic communication? Which one is the electronic communication?
IDOC and email.
EDA.
That means, so we need to also think about if your customs authorities made a rule, if the customs authorities made it mandatory to communicate electronically, you also need to think about electronic communication, right? Am I correct? Electronic communication process. Okay. And apart from this, do you think anything else? Any other requirements or any other rules and regulations? Any other business scenarios which you need to face in international trade when you are doing import or when you are doing export?
And sometimes, some countries needs to submit the kind of reports, what are the shipment they have done for the quarter or for the month, like that.
Okay, that's nice. That is there, that is there in the special European Union. Okay, so that means taking care of that's called intra-stat reports. That called statistical reports. We can say like in the I think it's general. We can use the general terminology. That is taking care of intra-stat declarations, like sending the statistical reports, sending the statistical reports to the customs authorities. Very good and valid point. Okay.
Venkat, intrastat means what?
Intrastat means like submission of the statistical data of our import and export details to the customs authorities is called as intrastat reports in the European Union. That the submission of the import volume or export volume or list of exports what you made for the previous month to the customs authorities, that process is called in the European Union as intrastat declarations or intrastat reports. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And there is one thing which you all missing. Not one thing. Two things you all missing.
One thing could be payment conditions. Right, Venkat?
Yes, that is how the payment condition. It's like taking care of the payment process, right? It is like
Right. Maybe letter of credit or advance payment is done or not.
so. That means when you look at international trade process, when you look at international export process, or when you think about export process or import process, the very major financial concern is, the very major financial obligation is taking care of the payment. So generally, as I already explained in the demo session, both exporters and the importers both are having financial obligation. Both exporters and importers are having the financial obligations. That means if exporter deliver the goods before receiving the payment, okay, then the exporter is having obligation, because the importer may make the payment or may not make the payment. But in other words, in contrast to that, if importer make the payment in advance, we don't know that importer doesn't know that exporter is going to deliver the goods after receiving the payment or not. So that way, in international trade process, both exporters and importers are having the financial obligations or the financial risk. So because of that reason, what happens in international trade, the international trade pundits or international trade experts, what they did, they introduced the concept of letter of credit. That means when you are doing export or when you are doing import, you need to take care of letter of credit process. You need to take care of letter of credit process. Okay, letter of credit process. So one more major important thing what we need to consider. We already discussed a little bit of.
Is a carrier the one who carries? Do we need anything there?
So did you forget about international trade agreements? International trade, free trade zones or international trade agreements between the countries? You remember?
The NAFTA.
Yes. So NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, or Central American CAFTA, Central American Free Trade Agreement, or European Union, or European Free Trade Agreement. So basically, there are many free trade agreements. There are many free trade agreements in the world. So when our client which is located in that free trade zone countries, when our client is part of when your customer or when your client or when you are part of that free trade zone countries, then what you need to take care. I'm not sure whether you remember or not. When there is an agreement, let us take an example of NAFTA. Let us take an example of NAFTA. Okay. So in order to make you understand better, let me open our okay, the master sheet which I have used for the some other people. Okay. So there are different free trade zones. So that is one is the NAFTA, which is between Canada, US and Mexico, and the European Union. It is between the 29 countries. I think now the Britain is already exit, right? Britain was exited, maybe 28 countries. Okay, European Union. And there is another free trade zone called European Free Trade Agreement between 3 countries of Europe like France and Germany, something else. That is separate. So, that is a separate, separate free trade agreement between apart from the European Union. And there is an agreement between Central American countries, like all small countries which are located in the between South America and North America. Okay, whatever it is. So basically, when you look at this NAFTA, what is going to happen if any client of US, if any client of or any company of US, if any client or any, let us say like General Motors. Let us say General Motors. General Motors is a US based company. So if General Motors would give the preference, to receive to purchase the raw materials or the parts, either from the Canada or Mexico, then what happens? The General Motors company is supposed to get some benefit. Is supposed to get some kind of preference amount or some kind of benefit. In other words, let us say there is a company in Canada like CF Industries, CF Chemicals. There is a company called CF Chemicals. If the CF Chemicals in Canada is giving preference to import the materials, to import the parts or import the raw materials, either from Canada or either from US or Mexico, then what happens? That CF Industries is supposed to get some benefit or is supposed to get some preference from the Canadian government authorities, because those companies, either General Motors or the CF Industries, CF Chemicals, they are giving preference to import the raw materials from the same free trade zone, from the same free trade zone, rather than any other country, rather than any other outside country. So that means if General Motors import their materials either from Canada or Mexico, it will get some benefit, it will get some preference amount. Whereas if the General Motors would give the preference to import something from the Germany, there will not be any benefit for the General Motors. There will not be any benefit, because there is no any free trade zone, there is no any free trade agreement between US and Germany. The free trade zone or the free trade agreement is available between Canada, Mexico and US. So because of that reason, any company or any client in the free trade zone, if they give the preference to import the materials from the same free trade zone country or the same free trade zone vendors of the countries, then those companies are supposed to get those companies are supposed to get some benefit, some preference, or some discount, or some refund, duty exemption, whatever it is. There is that kind of process. That kind of process is prevailing in the international trade agreements. So in this junction, or in this situation, in this scenario, if General Motors would like to know, if General Motors or if CF Chemicals or Nestle, whoever it is, if they would like to know, what is the benefit, if they would like to calculate, if they would like to determine, if they would like to identify the benefit, the preference, or the discount, or the refund, so what they need some system, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Hello? So they need, because it's a requirement, right? They need some system. They need some, they need some mechanism. So that means you can say, I can write here.
So Venkat, one question here. So is it something that we are requesting preference to the parent country? I mean to say, if the companies in France within European Union, they are procuring or importing or exporting products across European Union, they have to claim to the French government. Isn't it? Is that correct?
No, it is like this. If your client is in France, and if your client is giving the preference to receive the raw materials from the European region, like 28 countries of Europe, then the France government, the France customs authorities or the France government will give some preference to your client.
Okay, so at the end of that, the claim supposed to go to the French government. They have to repay.
Yes, they need to submit. They need to submit the proof. Okay, they need to submit called there is a document called certificate of origin, which is a proof. So that certificate says that from where the goods are originated, that is called certificate of origin. If the certificate of origin says that yes, these goods are originated from the 28 countries of European Union, then the French or the France government will try to give some preference or the benefit or refund to your client. That they need to calculate. So that is also.
That's clear.
Got it?
It's clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
So that means the other requirement or the other business scenario or the other requirement what we need to think about is preference calculation. Okay. So generally there are some other rules and regulations also there, but these are the these are the major rules and regulations or major requirements. These are the major rules and regulations or major rules and requirements which we need to consider when you think about import or export. So now what we do?
Blanket prevents nothing but its rebate.
No, it's not the rebate. It's not the rebate.
Okay.
It's not rebate at all. No connection or no sync of rebates to this. It's entirely different concept. It is just based on where your goods are originated and are those goods really originated from that country or any part of that good is derived from any other country. System, I will explain. The system can do some calculation, some kind of it does some kind of mixed calculations and decide whether this product is ultimately relevant for getting the benefit or not, and the system will show the preference and you can go to the customs authorities and get that benefit from them. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Venkat, this benefit is in which term? Is it in terms of money or some other benefits government is providing?
So it is mostly it is like duty exemption, or sometimes you will get some money back, some preference back, whatever the duty you paid, you will get back after some time. You need to claim. So first you pay it, and then after some time, when you submit the proof, when you submit the certificate of origin and other proofs, you will get back that you will get your preference back. Okay. So now whatever the requirements we have spoken now, I will make you understand by correlating which application area or which functionality of SAP GTS module. So now what I am going to do, now you understood that, now you all understood that these are all the requirements, these are all the business scenarios. Okay, so now we understood that these are all the business requirements, these are all the business processes which we have to face, which you have to consider when you think about the import or export process. Now we need to know which application area or which functionality, which application area or which functionality of SAP GTS module will help you to fulfill all these rules and regulations. So that is what we are going to talk. Okay. So let me go to the. Okay. So what is the first requirement? Taking care of the license, right? Taking care of the license. That means we need to make sure assign the licenses to the product in the transaction. That means when you are exporting or when you are importing, the requirement is you need to assign proper license. We need to assign proper license, or we need to assign proper valid license to the product in the transaction. So my question is, if you are dealing with the 10 transaction or 1 transaction, 2 transactions, then what you can do? You can take care of it manually, right? You can assign in 1 or 2 transactions. you can give that responsibility to one or two people, and they can make sure that products are assigned. But if you are dealing with n number of transactions, or if you are dealing with n number of products, if you are dealing with n number of transactions or n number of products, okay, then what do you think? Like, is it manual process is correct approach? Is the manual approach is correct approach? Like, if you are dealing with 100 transactions or 200 transactions or 500 transactions with 1,000 products, is it really possible to assign the licenses to the product and the transaction manually?
No.
No, it's not good. It's not good idea. Then we need a system, right? Am I correct? We need a system,
Yes.
or we need a software, or we need a mechanism which will help us to automatically assign the licenses, to the product in the transaction. So that application area, or that functionality, or that software, that mechanism is nothing but license determination process in the GTS module. So that means if you implement license determination process, in the GTS module, the license determination application area, or the license determination process application area, will help the client to assign available license records, to the product in the transaction automatically. The system will take care of automatically. The system will take care of this license assignment process automatically. So the first requirement will be fulfilled with the help of license determination process in the GTS module under the compliance management. So this is, and what it does, the license determination process can take care of two things. The license determination process can take care of two things. The first thing is, it will look for the license, it will look for the available license record, and then it will assign the available license record to the product. It will assign the available license condition record or the available license record to the product in the transaction, the custom product in the transaction. And also, do you think or do you expect anything else from this application area? Do you think that just assign the license record to the product is enough? My question is, do you think that this license determination process just assign the available license record to the product in the transaction, or do you expect anything else other than that?
So if it helps you to intimate when license is expiring, or kind of.
That is also okay. Anything else?
That license is means assigned to a particular material, or license is valid to that material, that also need to check.
No, my point is, what if the license is not okay? I want to ask a question. So what if okay, it is like this. In ECC SD module, if you do not maintain the price for a sales order, can you do the delivery?
No, you cannot.
You cannot do the delivery.
So I mean to say kind of income, the document should go for the incompletion.
That means in the similar way, not exactly same, but in order to make you understand easily, just I wanted to compare, but it's not exactly the same what I'm going to explain. Don't you think that the GTS system block the transaction if the license is not there?
Yes.
In other words, what happens if you send a document, or if you send a shipment? What happens if you send a shipment to the customs authorities without assigning the license? What do you think? What happens?
It is a fine to the company.
Yes.
You don't allow to create delivery itself.
Delivery is your system. I am asking general. So what happens?
It's a non-compliance.
That means you will become non-compliant, because you are trying to you are trying to send the shipment without having proper documentation in place. So do you want to do that? No, right?
You have to stop it.
You need to stop. So if you want to stop, system need to do something, right? Am I correct?
Yes, screening.
Yes.
Yes.
Error management.
Correct. That means what the system does, the GTS system is having the capability of, first of all, what it does, it try to look for the available license record. If the license record, valid condition record, valid license record is available, it will assign that license record to the product in the transaction. If in case, if there is no license record, or the license record expired, or the product is not reasonably available to assign the license record, then what it does, it has to block. The GTS license determination has to block the transaction. Why? If it blocks, then only we will come to know, okay, this transaction is having some problem, okay, we need to take care, we need to look at. So like this, the license determination will take care of, assigning the available license record to the product in the transaction, and also it will block the transaction. If license record is not available. If it is not able to assign the license record, if the license record is not available, then the system will block the transaction. So that is the capability, or that is the purpose of license determination process using in the GTS module, which is available under the compliance management. So that means the first requirement, the first business requirement, what we discussed, is going to be fulfilled, is going to be taken care by the legal control import and export, which is also called as license determination process of compliance management. You understood? One of the functionality available in the compliance management will help to fulfill the first rule of one of the regulation in the international trade process. And then what is the next thing? Taking care of the bad countries. So that means in order to take care of the bad countries, that means in order to look at what is whether in order to make sure whether the customer in the business customer country in the business transaction, I repeat, in order to make sure whether the customer in the business transaction, or in order to make sure the vendor in the business transaction, in order to make sure the customer country in the business transaction, or in order to make sure the vendor country in the business transaction, or in other words, in order to make sure that the business partner country, is good, in order to make sure that the business partner country is not belongs to the bad country, in order to make sure that the business partner country is not matching with the bad country, is not belongs to the bad country or prohibited country, we need some mechanism, right? We need some system, right, to take care of that activity.
Yes, we should check, validate, right? Like validation.
Yes, we need to do the validation. So we need a system, we need a software, we need a mechanism to validate the business partner countries against the bad countries or against the blocked countries. So that is going to be taken care by the embargo screening in the GTS module.
Okay.
So now we understood that. Now just few minutes back we understood that the license determination process will take care by the license validation process. License assignment process will be taken care by the license determination process, which is available in the compliance management. And now just one second back or 1 minute back we understood that, okay, in order to take care of the business partner countries, or in order to validating the business partner country, in order to verifying the business partner country, SAP GTS module provided an application area called the embargo screening. So what this embargo screening does? The embargo screening, it takes care of two things. The embargo screening will take care of two things. That is, the embargo screening will validate. The embargo screening application area in the GTS module, what it does, it looks at what is the business partner country, and then it goes to the list of bad countries master data. It looks at the master data list of bad countries master data, and it verify whether the customer country, whether the business partner country in the transaction, whether the business partner country in the custom transaction is matching with the bad country or not. If it matches, what do you expect? What do you expect from the GTS system?
It will block that.
Again, system has to block the document.
Yes. That means as part of embargo screening, again, first of all, it will validate. First, it will validate whether the business partner country is matching with Just give me 1 minute. I'm getting one call. I don't know who is that. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So this embargo screening, what it does, it will locate the business partner country, and after getting the business partner country, it will validate or verify against the bad countries. So if the business partner country is not matching with the embargo country, then it is good. It will not apply any block. But if in case the business partner country in the transaction is matching with the embargo country or blocked country, then the system will block the transaction. So that is the purpose or the benefit of the embargo screening. So that means our second requirement, our second regulation will be taken care by the GTS module, embargo screening. And what is the third requirement which we discussed?
Yes, partner.
So taking care of the individual business partners, taking care of the, and it is not business partners, the correct terminology is taking care of the bad members. That means the requirement is like this. The requirement is like this. Generally in the international trade, all the countries, international trade, all the countries publishes list of blocked members or bad members or restricted party members, or in the exact terminologies, sanction party members. Sanction party list. It is called sanction party list. Sanction party list means like the people who are having sanctions. Sanctions means like some kind of restrictions. The sanction party list means the people who are having restrictions. So that kind of list, restricted party list or a denied party list. So there are many names: sanction party list, denied party list, restricted party list, blocked party list, prohibited party list. There are different people with different list, different terminology. So here the point is, as part of your international trade, you need to validate or you need to verify all your business partners against the list. That means before you send your shipment to the customs authorities, or before you send your documentation to the customs authorities, you need to verify whether your business partners in the country, whether your business partners in the transaction, whether the business partners in the transaction are matching with the bad members or not matching with the bad members. Or it is like this. You need to make sure the business partners in the transaction does not match with the bad member list or does not match with the sanction party list. So as part of this requirement, you need to make sure the business partners in the custom transactions, the business partner details of the business partner information, the business partner information or the business partner details in the custom transaction does not match with the bad members or the blocker members. So you need to validate, right? You need to verify your business partner in the transaction, whether the business partner name is matching with the bad member name, whether the business partner address details are matching with the bad member address details. So you need to validate, you need to verify. So in order to perform this activity, in order to perform this functional process, SAP GTS provided an application area called sanction party list screening. It is one of the best application area, one of the huge demand application area in the GTS module, okay, which will help the client a lot to fulfill this process, because each and every country publishes list of very huge list of SPL members. Each and every country customs authorities publishes huge list of bad members, huge list of sanction party members, or a huge list of restricted party members or denied party members. So before SAP introducing SPL screening, before SAP GTS introducing SPL screening, so each and every client was having many issues. So before SAP GTS introducing SPL screening application area, each and every client was having so much trouble or facing many challenges to fulfill that requirement. But after this, after SAP GTS implementing SPL scanning, the clients are very happy to deal with the customs authorities, because when SAP GTS SPL scanning was not there, what happens? Because you know you are having huge list of the business partners, and you are having huge list of bad members. It is very difficult to the system, or in any system other than GTS SPL scanning, any other system, it is very difficult, you know, to handle that kind of situation, like validating like 50,000 customers, validating 50,000 customers against the 10,000 bad members. It is very challenging and it's very time consuming, and you may not get accurate results if you use other than SAP GTS SPL scanning application area. So even in fact, SAP SPL scanning is one of the application area which made SAP GTS as a successful module in the market. We can say that SAP GTS SPL scanning application area made SAP GTS is a successful module in the market, because that was the that was the situation the clients were facing when SPL scanning application area was not there in the market. Okay, so this SPL scanning application area, what it does, it takes care of it validate or verify our business partner details against the bad member details, and if everything is good, it keep quiet. If in case your business partner details, are matching with bad member details, then what happens? Your transaction will be blocked by the GTS system. That is the next application area called sanction party scheme. And the next, what is the next one? Taking care of the products, right?
Yes, classification.
That means product classification. So if you want to do the product classification, as I already mentioned in the demo session, if you are dealing with one product or two products or 10 products, maybe you can do the manual classification. But when you are dealing with thousands of products, like 10,000, 100,000, 50,000 products, you need some system to do the classification, right? Some mass classification. Am I correct?
Yes.
So you need some system or you need some mechanism to do the mass classification. So that is okay. In order to fulfill that application area, in order to fulfill that requirement, in order to fulfill that business process, SAP GTS has come up with a concept of product classification process. SAP GTS has introduced a concept of product classification process, which will help you to classify the products, effectively, and also which will help you to classify the products, multiple products at one time. It also helps you to classify the products, multiple products at one time. That is the product classification application area. So these are the four applications.
Where can we have transaction mass in GTS?
What is that?
Mass, MASS mass.
No, not mass. Product classification itself is having its own mechanism. I will show you later. Okay. It itself, it's simply just, if you want to assign 5,000 products at one time using one classification number, what you can do, you can input all 5,000 products in the selection screen and
that is upload.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't need to use any mass transaction in the GTS module. Okay.
Okay.
So these are all the four functionalities. These are all the four functionalities which are available in the compliance management, which will help you, or which will help the client to be under compliance. That is the reason we are calling this module as a compliance management. Okay, that is all about this is all about compliance management. And the next thing is customs management. Why this module has been given as a customs management? Because whatever the functionalities available in the customs management module will help you, or will help the client to have smooth customs communication, or to have effective communication with the customs authorities. I mean to say that in order to have the effective communication with the customs authorities, you need some kind of better system, right? If you want to communicate with the customs authorities a better way or effective way, you need some support, right? You need some mechanism, right? Am I correct?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. So the application areas available in the customs management, will help you or will help the client to have effective communication or to have smooth communication with the customs authorities. So whatever the application areas available in the customs management will help you to have smooth communication or the effective communication with the customs authorities. So that's what we will discuss in the coming few minutes. Okay. So let us go to our the initial business requirement is a sheet. So you understood that we need to take care of the support documents or the legal messages, and we need to take care of the communication process as well. Okay. And in order to support these requirements, SAP GTS has introduced the concept of customs management. We will discuss what functionalities available or what application areas available in the customs management. We will discuss that. Okay. Okay. Before that, I wanted to ask you something. 1 minute. In SAP ECC, if you want to send some message, for example, if you want to send advanced shipping notification, to your customers, what you do when you do the delivery after?
It's an IDOC.
What you do?
It's an IDOC. It's an IDOC.
It's an IDOC. I mean, it's okay, whatever it is. It's an IDOC or whatever it is.
Output.
What
output determination.
You can.
Output.
You need to do the output determination, right? Okay. Okay. Let us forget about output determination also. In order to my point is output determination is a technique. Okay, that's not what I'm expecting. In order to send that advanced shipping notification, which document is supposed to be in place? Which document is supposed to be in place? Or from which document you can trigger? From which document you can trigger advanced shipping notification? From which document?
Delivery. From delivery.
Very good. From delivery. That means the delivery document should be in place. The delivery document should have been created in place to trigger advanced shipping notification. Am I correct? Okay. And then one more question. If you want to send sales order confirmation to your customer, what document should have been created in place? Or from which document you can trigger?
Sales order.
From sales order.
And if you want to send billing information or billing invoice manifest or billing details to the customer or third party people, which document should have been in place?
Billing document.
Billing document. Okay. That is, I think you are good at that point. Okay. Now coming back to our GTS. So now what you understood here, as part of your import or as part of our import or export, you need to send something to the customs authorities, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
You need to send some messages, right? You need to send some messages. Whether it is legal, whether you say it is a legal document or output or support messages or support document, whatever it is a document, right? Whether it is IDOC or printout, whatever it is a document. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So if you want to trigger, for example, for our export process, for our export clearance, if you want to trigger 6 documents, from where you can trigger? You need to create some document, right? Am I correct? You need to create
ECC. Yes.
Let us forget about ECC. Just think about GTS. So, okay. From ECC, you are not triggering anything to the customs authorities. Please remember.
I think it's from the sales order itself. You have to do it, right?
No. From ECC, we will not communicate anything direct to the customs authorities. Please remember, from ECC, we will not communicate anything to the customs authorities. We will only use the GTS module. We will only use the GTS system to communicate with the customs authorities. So that means whatever the document, whatever the message, whatever the legal documents, legal support message, you need to trigger from the GTS module. Okay, you understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So now tell me.
So I guess so whatever the document we created in ECC, so same document will flow to GTS, and then I think it will create custom document.
That I will explain. Tomorrow class, that is integration part, I will explain. Please do not deviate. Okay. My point is, okay, I wanted to explain the GTS scope or GTS complete a high-level overview. I wanted to give the strong base. So, like,
Okay.
so that's the reason, okay, just try to not deviate. But my point is, if you want to send all these 6 documents for your export and 5, let us assume that, to get your export clearance, you need to send 6 documents to the customs, so 6 messages to the customs authorities. And in order to get import clearance, you need to send 5 documents to the customs authorities. So now you tell me to send these 6 documents, or to send these 5 documents for export, or to send 6 documents for export clearance, what is required in the GTS module?
There should be some base documents you need to create.
Export documents should be created.
Yes, that is what I'm explaining.
Custom documents.
That means we need to create, to send, to trigger customs export messages, to trigger export, sorry, to send export messages for the export clearance. You need to create, you can only trigger from the export some document, that is customs export declaration document. I mean to say that we need to create in the GTS module, we need to create customs export declaration document. We need to create customs export declaration document in the GTS module, to trigger all the messages to the customs authorities. So whatever the message is required, whatever the message you wanted to trigger to the customs authorities, or whatever the message you want to send to the customs authorities for export clearance, that can only be triggered from the customs export declaration document. That means you need to create the customs export declaration document. You need to create customs export declaration document to trigger all the messages for the export clearance. You clear? The first thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the reason we need to talk about, we need to discuss, we need to spend 1 or 2 hours of time, 1 or 1.5 hour time to understand how to create the customs export declaration process, how whatever the Sunil was referring, whether it is ECC reference or whatever reference, we'll talk later. But we need to understand at this moment, we need to create customs export declaration document to send all the messages to the customs authorities to get the customs clearance. And then, in the similar way, for import clearance, we understood that we need to send 5 documents, and in order to trigger those 5 documents, we need to have a document in place, right? Am I correct? So some source document in place. Am I correct?
Yes.
So that is nothing but customs import declaration document. So we need to create customs export declaration document to trigger all the messages to the customs authorities, and we need to create customs import declaration document, to trigger the import messages to get the import clearance. This is okay, first and second. And the next thing is trade document services and the communication process. Let us talk about the trade document services. Can I ask a question? As a human being or as an employee, is it really possible to you, to know what documents are required for each and every country export or each and every import? Are you able to remember? Are you able to understand all the documents required for each and every country?
No.
It's very, maybe you may know 1 or 2 countries. You may know 1 or 2 countries, or 3 countries, 4 countries. But it's not even good enough to depend on a human efforts, right? To determine the messages for each and every country transaction. Because I don't know, I can ask this question: Do you think all the countries in the world require same kind of documents to get the customs clearance for an export and import?
It will be different from country to country.
Yes, you are correct. So basically the documentation requirements, the custom support documentation or the custom legal documentation requirements differs. It differs from the country to country and the export to import process. If country A is doing export, if you are doing export from the country A, you need to submit 20 documents. And if you are doing import from the same country A, you may need to submit 10 documents. If you are doing export from the country B, you need to submit 25 documents, or import for 28 documents. So like this, the documentation requirements for each and every country, export and import, is always different, is always changing, or the dynamic or the different. So because of that reason, what SAP does, SAP itself provided pre-configured documentation or pre-configured messages, pre-configured custom documents for each and every country, their export and import in the GTS module. SAP itself has come up with, SAP did lot of R&D, and SAP come to the conclusion, if it is Germany export, okay, we need this 20. If the Germany import, we need this 28. If the US export, we need this 6. If US import, we need this 8. So like this, SAP itself provided pre-configured messages in the system. Why? Because it is difficult to the companies to each and every time to configure to do that. But if in case any changes happens, then you can do that. You can add a document, you can delete a document, but you don't need to do all together. You don't need to configure all the documents. Whatever the document is not available, whatever the document is missing, according to the new requirement or the current trend, you can add the document, you can delete the document if you don't need. So that is taken care. So all those, like the explanation, the understanding of documentation requirement for each and every country and export will be discussed under or will be taken care by the trade document services application area. Using the trade document services application area, we will understand how SAP provided or where SAP provided documentation requirements and how to understand that, how to deal with that. We will discuss under the trade document service. You understood what can be done by the trade document services? You understood?
Yeah.
Okay. And the next one is communication process. When I say communication process, for each and every document, whatever the documents already available under trade document service, whatever the message is available under a trade document services, for each and every message or each and every document, what we need to do, we need to define the medium. Whether you wanted to, whether that document has to be communicated with the customs authorities using IDOC, using printout, using fax, using email, whatever it is. You need to specify the method of communication or the medium of the communication, okay, in the each and every message. So that which we will take care of. Communication process we will discuss as part of the communication process, and also like it is like this, specifying the medium or specifying the method or establishing the connection between SAP GTS and the customs authority system, establishing the GTS system, establishing the connection between SAP GTS and customs automated system also is taken care by the communication process. And also the specifying the frequency, whether you want to send once in a day or once in a week or once in a month or twice in a day, whatever the frequency, the medium or connection information or connection process or frequency process, all these things, all the communication process we will discuss as part of this communication, electronic communication or the communication process. That is the fourth functionality. So first we talk about the customs management, we talk about the customs export declaration, customs import declaration process, trade document services, and then communication process. Okay, and the next one is defining the default procedures, defining the default data. To be frank, at this moment, if I want to make you understand, it requires at least 30 minutes of time to make you understand, define default data process. That's why you just keep it in mind. But we will have we will have separate session. We will be spending 1.5 hour time to this concept, defining default data process. I don't want, because I started explaining in the overview class couple of times, but it create an unnecessary confusion. That's why because I tried to explain in 4 to 5 minutes, which made create some confusion. That's why this concept, defining the default data, I'm not going to explain very detailed now, but I wanted to explain only one minute. That is, when you are communicating with the customs authorities, you need some default data. You need some data, okay, which is not available in the document. When you are communicating with the customs authorities, you need some data which is not available in our documents. That data you need to define the default data. The data which is not available in the document, which is required for the customs authorities, you need to define is the default data in the GTS module. So that we will discuss as part of this. We will have detailed discussion in the regular sessions, which at least we can spend 1 hour, 1.5 hour time. Okay, you just understood that in the GTS module we need to define the default data which is required for the customs communication process. I don't want to tell more than that at this moment. Okay, why it is, what made us to do that, we will need to spend some time. Are you okay with that? Okay. Okay.
That's fine.
And the next one is defining the incompletion control process. So before explaining this, I wanted to ask a question. So if you send any incomplete information to the customs authorities, is it okay? Is it acceptable to the customs? Is it acceptable to the customs authorities? They don't accept, right? If you send the incomplete information 1 or 2 times, it's okay. If you keep doing, they will stop. They will block your shipment, or they will stop doing you a trade process. If you keep doing the incompletion, if you keep sending the incompletion data, you agree with me, Amar or Veer?
That's right.
So
You're right. Yes.
that means because of that reason, what we need to do for each and every in the GTS module, it is like this. You know that if it is ECC, we define incompletion process at the document level, right?
Yes.
We
yes.
define incompletion.
So whether we should go to next level or not, whether we should go next level or not.
At very basic level, what we do, we define the incompletion process at the document level, item category level. Basically, we define the incompletion process for the each and every document type, and also we can define item category also, item category level.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But in the GTS, it is not like it is not at the document level. In the GTS, it is not at the document level. So in the GTS, it is at individual message level. There are almost, for example, US export 6 and import 8, let us say, and Germany 20 import and 24 export. So what happens? We define individual incompletion procedures. We define incompletion procedures, individual message, and assign that procedure to the message. So that means we configure individual procedures and assign to the individual message, so that whenever that message is missing any incompletion data, system will block that message not to send to the customs authorities. So that's what we will discuss as part of the last application area in the customs management, that is defining incompletion control process. So because of the reason we need to make sure that we are sending the complete information, complete message, complete information to the customs authorities. We need to discuss about that means we need to understand that in SAP GTS we have a functionality, business functionality which will help the client to validate the incompleteness of the each and every message as well. So that is what you need to think when I'm explaining all these business functionalities. You can go back to your business process. You can think of your business client, your business process of the client. You can tell them, okay, if you implement SAP GTS module, our GTS module is having the capability of validating each and every individual message incompleteness also. So that way you can convince the client to implement the GTS module, or you can face the client as part of your workshops or as part of your requirements gathering. Okay, this is all about the customs management. This is all about the customs management. And the next one is
one question.
Can I ask one question?
Sorry. Sure. Tapas, you can ask me first.
Yeah. When you say it is message, what is the exact meaning you are representing here? Is it the EDI IDOC message, or something output message, or some other object in GTS?
It is an output message. It is similar to the output message. For example, you have your ASN. However the way you have ASN in our delivery, in the similar way, each and every, for example, it is like this. For example, when you are exporting from US, you need to submit a message called commercial invoice, certificate of origin, certificate of insurance, or shipper's export declaration, shipper's letter of instruction, or packing list. So these are some of the messages of the documents. Okay, for each and every message, you need to assign a separate incompletion procedure in the GTS module. When I say message, it's a required message, it's a required document, like commercial invoice, certificate of origin, shippers export declaration, packing list, shippers letter of rejection, like this. You understood what I'm trying to tell?
Okay. So it is a separate document in GTS, right?
It is a separate It is a separate document or it is a separate message in the GTS which can be triggered from the customs export declaration document or customs import declaration document.
Okay.
It's like when I say message, when I say custom legal message or custom legal document, it is output. Indirectly, it is output of ECC. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. That's fine. Basically, in ECC, we will control this through the requirement or routines. I think similarly, we have incompletion, I think, controlled in GTS through this incompletion.
We don't, in the GTS, up to some extent, we don't need to use the requirements, but after some level, you know, up to one point of level, you don't need to use any requirement. But after that, we can use the function models, not requirement. SAP GTS provided function model for each and every message. For each and every message, SAP provided function module to control your incompletion process. If in case it is not satisfied by the standard incompletion process. You understood?
Yeah.
I mean to say that I can repeat. For example, for commercial invoice, let us say there are 10 important fields which you can fulfill using the standard configuration. Okay. If in case if there is any special requirement, you know, based on the customer in the country or, you know, customer in the transaction, or based on the legal regulation, based on the foreign trade organization, based on something else, you cannot do using the configuration. In that situation, SAP provided the function model for each and every message. You can control that requirement using the function model, not the requirement. It is similar kind of thing, but not the requirement. Got it, Sunil?
Okay. Yeah, got it. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So, Veer, you have any question?
No, that is what actually I want to ask the same question. Like, okay. Is it one in one custom document you're triggering 6 messages?
Yes. One customs export declaration document we can trigger 6, or we can trigger 20, or we can trigger 30 also.
Yeah. That's all the question.
Okay. And please remember, custom message or the custom legal document. Custom message or custom legal document is different from the customs declaration document. Okay. I think you may get clarified, you know, in the future. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Custom message or custom legal documents are different from the customs export declaration document.
That's fine.
So this is all about the customs management overview, and then the risk management. In order to make you understand, I'm going back. Okay. So you understood that, you know, there is something called letter of credit. You understood that, right? So there is a requirement in international trade process, that is taking care of the letter of credit. So which is exactly available in the GTS module called a letter of credit process. So if you use SAP GTS module, if you implement SAP GTS module, the risk management is having the application area called letter of credit. The risk management letter of credit application area will help you to support letter of credit process of the international trade process. Okay, you can use the letter of credit. That means SAP GTS also having the functionality of the letter of credit process or letter of credit determination to support LOC process of the international trade process, or LOC process of the international trade business. Okay, that is this. And you also understood that preference calculation, right? So in order to, you understood that?
Yes, we did.
You understood that in international trade we have a requirement of calculating the preference, or we understood that we have a requirement of identifying the preference, or identifying the value, or identifying the amount of the preference. You need some system, right? So that is taken care. That can be taken care by the preference process or the preference determination of the SAP GTS module. So that means the risk management is having, like, you know, 2 application areas. That is preference process and the letter of credit, which will help. One will help you to identify the preference amount, when you do the business, when you import the material from the same preference zone country, and the letter of credit will help you to take care of the LOC process of the international trade. So this is about the risk management. This is about the risk management. Okay, and the last thing is electronic compliance reporting. So basically, this electronic compliance reporting is specific. This electronic compliance reporting is specific to the European Union. This application, this functionality. Let me say this. Electronic compliance reporting, it itself is a module. It itself is a submodule. It itself is an application area. That means it is not having any sub application areas. It is not divided anything further. It itself is an application area. It itself is a submodule. That is electronic compliance reporting. So this electronic compliance reporting was designed especially for the European Union. I will tell you why, and also I will tell you why. Okay, I will tell you why. So basically, in the European Union, end of every month, or you can say, like, the first week of every month. In European Union, the first day or first week of the every month, each and every client is supposed to submit the statistical report, the statistical data of export and import volume for the previous months. So let us say, I'm having a company called TISCO Group Industries. So okay, TISCO Group. We are doing as a TISCO Group. We are exporting and we are doing many exports. Or many import from the European Union countries. So my company TISCO Group is located. My company TISCO Group is located in the European, let us say France. My company TISCO Group is located in the France, and we made a lot of imports and also we made a lot of exports with all 28 countries of European Union. So we made a lot of imports and we made a lot of exports with the 28 countries of European Union. So and because of that, what happens, according to the European Union regulation, first of every month, my TISCO Group company is supposed to submit the statistical reports, the statistical value of total export, the statistical value of total import for the previous month. So if on the January 1st or January 2nd or January 1st week, I am supposed to submit the total volume of export to the total volume of import, what we made for the month of December, And if I am in the January, if I am in the February, I need to submit the statistical value of the statistical report, that is the total volume of export, total volume of import for the month of January. So like this, these kind of declarations, this kind of statistical declarations process is prevailing in the international trade, which is also called as intra-stat declaration. This process is called as intra-stat declarations. So since the European Union is having this kind of requirement, what SAP GTS did, SAP GTS introduced a concept of a module called electronic compliance reporting. If you implement electronic compliance reporting, it will become very easy. It will become very easy to your client to submit the intra-stat declarations day to day or on monthly basis without any issues. So this is the, and if you prepare your resume, for example, if you prepare your resume with the US client, you should not say that you worked on electronic compliance reporting. If you prepare your resume with European Union or Europe client, then only you need to mention you worked on electronic compliance reporting. Otherwise, you can say you have knowledge in that. Okay, and that is one thing. The other question is, as I told you, you may have the question, Venkat, in that case, why SAP introduced this module, this submodule only in the 7 version, and what happened before that? So before that, people used to, the similar kind of concept is available in the ECC, the similar kind of concept in the ECC foreign trade. So that's why GTS initially did not consider, but later, when it comes to the automatic declarations, like when it comes to the connecting part. So with the help of ECC foreign trade or with the help of ECC intra-state declarations, you cannot connect our SAP ECC system to the customs authorities. When if you want to submit intra-state declarations using ECC, you cannot submit automatically to the customs authorities. So, and in 2004 time, what happened? In the 2004, what happens? European Union made it mandatory. European Union made it mandatory to submit the declarations automatically. Automatically in the sense, European Union made it mandatory to submit electronically. Till 2004, European Union system, NCTS, new computerized transit system. European Union automated system name is new computerized transit system. So that system till 2004 it is not mandatory to communicate electronically. But after 2004, the European Union NCTS system, those people made it mandatory to communicate with the customs authorities electronically. These intra-state declarations, they decided to accept only electronic intra-state declarations, no manual. So that is the reason what SAP thought, okay, let us introduce something in the GTS module, because SAP GTS is having the capability of connecting directly to the any automated system, not only NCTS, not only AES, not only Atlas automated system, any system. So that is the reason it came to the limelight after a 7.1 version. And before that, people used to use ECC intra-state declarations where they use the manual process or manual approach. But after 2004, 7.1 version, SAP GTS introduced that concept to the GTS module as well. So this is all about the complete scope or complete overview of SAP GTS module, which any GTS consultant should know this. Okay. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. And otherwise, I have something else to tell. You can ask me questions for some time.
Venkat, one question. As you ECC foreign trade has this license and letter of credit as well, and they have that, for example, license has the functionality for determining license in the sales document, or I mean blocking the sales document if license is not determined. So in GTS functionally, is there any difference with that ECC foreign trade and GTS in order to license or letter of credit?
So basically, the major difference is SPL scanning. SPL scanning was not is not part of ECC, or is not having that much capability at any system, other not only ECC, any system, SPL scanning. But I know that SAP ECC is having license, and SAP ECC also having some embargo related, but those concepts are not effective. Okay, and also what happens, as I already mentioned in the demo session, the new rules and regulations which were introduced after 2001 incident, September 11, 2001 incident, our ECC system become dummy in the sense it's not that much capable to take care of all these dynamic rules and regulations which were coming after that period. So that is the reason it's more dynamic. You can say SAP GTS system more dynamic than ECC foreign trade. Okay, it's more dynamic, more effective than ECC foreign trade. The functionalities, so the system is more capable, and also the GTS system is having the capability of connecting to the any automated system, Atlas or AES or NCTS or any automated system. We can connect our SAP GTS system directly in order to have the electronic communication. Okay, got it?
This is Venkat, this is Veer. One question for me is, I am totally new to GTS and foreign trade, so I have no knowledge about both of them. So probably
one minute. You do not need to know anything about foreign trade. Even I don't know anything about foreign trade. Even after becoming GTS consultant, I understood that okay, there is something called foreign trade in the ECC, which which is having similar kind of functionalities. We do not need to know anything. So and also as I already explained, our training methodology has 5 steps. It includes 5 steps: business process in the step 1, system process in the step 2, configuration process in the step 3, master data process in the step 4, and scenario creation in the step 5. So that way, even though you don't have any business background of the international trade process, we talk something. We talk sometime. So what is this? What is this functionality? What kind of business process is prevailing in international trade? After discussing that, we will come to the actual concept. We do not need to know anything about foreign trade, but he was just asking that there is a module in the ECC. We do not need to know. I do not know. I never worked on a foreign trade.
So what level of customization, like what level of bespoke normally happens in GTS? Is it very minimal?
You mean you are talking about the custom enhancements?
Yeah, bespoke, yeah.
Yes, definitely we have. We do have there are many, especially when it comes to the integration part, transferring the data from the ECC to GTS, restricting the data, and using the user exits, or using the baddies to transfer the data. And also we do have baddies in the GTS module to control each and every requirement. Yes, we do. We do have custom like ECC only, like ECC only. The only difference.
No, but in your experience, what level it will go? Like currently I work for a client GSK.
Okay.
We in ECC we started with like 20%. Now it is almost 40% bespoke.
GTS, it is, you can say we may not require as SD module or as a MM module kind of thing, but we need. You can say if ECC SD module require 50%, GTS could be 30%. The reason is it is like this. Most of the reports, SAP itself provided most of the reports for the GTS. Okay, and mostly you may not need to change existing report, and very rare we need the new requirements from the GTS perspective. Okay, but other than that we need some extent. But it's not as like a ECC, SD, or MM.
All right, fine, thank you.
No problem.
Venkat, Sunil here.
No, Sunil.
The GTS for is something like industry specific. Why I'm asking is, till today there are only few companies has implemented GTS, right?
No. GTS is not industry specific. It is like this. Other than the food industry, anyone required SAP GTS module. Even for the food industry, the reason is generally food products we don't export, right? In general, okay.
Right.
That is the only reason. I don't see much of food industries have implemented GTS, and even food industry also, if they are importing any raw materials, they may need to consider. But all other industries, like you can say all mechanical industries, or electronic industries, or chemical industries. Chemical industries, it is very much chemical industry, or drug industry, or pharma industry, or electronic industry, like all these Apple, Ericsson, and Robert Bosch. All these are implemented SAP GTS module. Now recent times, since 3 years, it is like anything. It is like anything, the implementation of GTS module. So that way you can see more opportunities. Actually, initially till 2013, the GTS module is only prevalent, prevalently used in US. But 2013 and the requirements, started getting spread out to India, and 14 and 15 Europe, and especially 15 and 16 I can see Middle East and Asia also, because the clients and everybody started realizing the GTS module and started implementing, and nowadays each and every client started concentrating on the international trade markets. As you know that when someone is completely occupied the domestic, they look for the international trade, right? So that way the future will be we will be having more opportunities for more and more opportunities in the future. That's what I can say.
Okay, got it. Right. Suppose if they don't want to go for SAP GTS, and how would they manage this complaints in general, Venkat?
if the client is not doing like many transactions or minimal transactions, and their export regulations are very minimal, then people are using the foreign trade. Okay.
Oh, this is foreign trade.
If
Okay.
it is just preparing the documents, just documents, and no need of checking anything. For example, like this, if they don't have use customer data, if there are few companies, they just have like 100 customers or 50 customers. Okay.
What I'm asking is, is there any other third-party system to meet this requirement? Is there like that?
We have, something called integration point, and something we have different other one or two systems, but it's very less prominent. They are very just in order to save the money, people go for that, but performance-wise, even nobody knows. In fact, to tell you that there is no competitor for SAP GTS. That's why we are very good at that point, at that part. No you can say. People even know that there is a competitor, but when I try to find, when I had this question from the different people, then I tried to research, then I came to know that there is something called integration point, which is being implemented for very few clients. You can count on the fingers, those clients.
Venkat, actually, Venkat, it's a company called Hybris is using the third-party system. I'll check and I'll update you. It's for the name actually.
Okay, sure.
Actually, in our organization, they're using that actually. I'll check and I'll update you. That it's helpful for all.
I know that some other third parties integration point that is being used by some Lennox and even those clients also now trying to convert to the GTS mode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. In GSK we are using foreign trade. Now they started GTS. Last month they started GTS.
Now everyone, that is I'm telling. The future, like in two ways. The future for the GTS model will be very good. The one is whoever is already in the foreign trade and whoever is not implemented, they are trying to come to the GTS because of its capability or the benefits. And the second thing, if they go for a SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management, there is no chance at all. Everybody should go for GTS. And for SD, especially for SD and MM people, the GTS is very good combination. Everybody is asking now, like the experience in SD GTS.
In my company, my boss asked all 30 SD consultants, do anybody know GTS? Nobody knows. We have 30 consultants,
Yes,
nobody knows GTS.
I agree with you. That's the real situation.
So we hired from outside a new person to do GTS.
Okay.
So that made me to come to you.
I understood it. Even last year, I have traveled to India and Malaysia for the corporate trainings. Just for 5 days, I traveled 2 times. One time India and one time Malaysia. In 2016, I have seen in 15 and 16, I have seen very huge demand. Till 2013, nobody knows. Like even very few people know about the GTS, especially that is in US. At 2013, when this 10.1 version came to the market, it ruled like anything because of its all new functionalities, new capabilities, the system is so capable.
Venkat, how much demand is there in Japanese? I mean, right now I am dealing with Japanese companies, clients. How much demand is there?
Now it is everywhere. Now it is everywhere. Previously, when it was 2013 and 14, I have seen the people coming from only US and India till 2014, and 15 I have seen people coming from Europe and this Singapore and Malaysia, and 16 I have seen even Middle East also. That's what I can see. And that means now it's everywhere I can see. It's not the country specific because everyone started realizing and everyone started start utilizing. And one more thing, as of now, the percentage of the people who already implemented is very less, and the percentage which has to be implemented GTS is more. That's what I am feeling. That's my personal. So that way also we will be having much demand. Okay, and tomorrow we have the class. We have class same time. Okay, Please join tomorrow also, and I already sent you the bank details, and please make the payment accordingly. Probably you can pay by tomorrow, or if you want to, like you, I would recommend make the payment by tomorrow so that I can get the server access. Okay, before tomorrow class, try to pay. If you have any real trouble, and at least you can pay like after tomorrow, so that I will get the access. Okay, and tomorrow.
Venkat,
Yes.
as your bank details, I have ICICI. So your IDBS, it will take 2 days for me to add a payee, and
I can
tomorrow is Sunday.
I can send me my ICICI details also.
If you can send me ICICI for me, it's easier.
Okay, I will send ICICI details. I will send ICICI details to all.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to talk about integration part. It is very important and very interesting topic. Tomorrow's topic, and we will also look at the system for a few things, the activation of the baddies and other related things. And please join tomorrow same time. Okay, thank you for participating and thank you for your time. See you tomorrow.
Venkat, Amarnath here. Can you please call me after this?
Okay, and one minute. I have it. I can see Amar. Is Amarnath Subodhi?
Yeah. Yes.
And Gaurav is Vishal Gaurav, or may I know Gaurav is Vishal Gaurav? Hello, Gaurav? And who is this Momo? I can see Momo. Where is it, your friend? Momo?
No, it's not. That guy didn't join. I don't know. I just forwarded him the details.
Okay. And
so this Momo sent you a chat. Have a chat. In the chat is gave you the name.
Oh, okay. Momita, she's our old student.
Momita.
Momita, she's our old student. It's okay. And Satya, do I have your details, Satya? Do I have your details? Satya Devarkonda.
Venkat, nene Satyani.
Okay, Satya. Okay, Satya. Sorry, he's also our old student. And Sunil, I know. I think I'm not sure who is this Gaurav. May I know, is this Gaurav? Okay, no problem. We will see tomorrow whether he's going to join, and I will talk to him. Okay.
It's Gaurav Agrawal. His email ID is.
Gaurav, you can see his email ID, na?
Gaurav Agrawal.
Okay. Okay, I can send a mail to him. Okay. And thank you. See you tomorrow. Okay. Take care.
Venkat, one question, Venkat. Today's session, are you going to send the recording to us?
I will send it, but it will take, sometimes it will take maybe 3-4 hours, or sometimes at least take, 1 day. I will send it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Venkat.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.